Sorry about the late start today. I had an appointment which I'd completely forgotten about. I expect, like you, possibly like me, you may be finding the days sort of blur into one and then you lose track. In a perfect world, your child would go to school and would learn everything they need to know to become a fully functioning adult, operating in the economy, understanding how they work, and being able to make their contribution. We know we don't live in a perfect world. And we were looking yesterday at different intelligences and the way that children process things. And because I've never lived in a perfect world or an ideal world, I've had to do a lot of thinking on my feet as a teacher, as a person, and just like you, I've had considerable struggles at times. I have felt all the range of human emotion, and I come to want to share some of the experience with parents, because I've learnt so much about childhood, personal development of children, and many of the little people that many of the little people that I've met, I've seen in a situation where they're struggling and nobody seems to be able to help, and my desire to help them has caused me to be able to create some astonishing truths out of the work that we've done together, the child and me. I will do a little bit on intelligences, these multiple intelligences that we have, because if we were in a perfect world, or if somebody comes along and waves a magic wand and we all have the world we dream of, then if you have a child that likes abstract thinking, give them problem solving. There's one here: if a child likes to be precise, do mathematical computation games. I mean, we read lots and lots of books that tell us about the various learning styles. When I meet a child who cannot sit still, I know I cannot make that child sit still. What I do instead, because nobody trained me, like you, nobody trained me for this job, nobody trained me for this world, and nobody trains your child for the 21st century, apart from you and those people who take a personal interest. I feel this might be quite controversial, but when I have a child who can't sit still and I realise I cannot control that, what I do is I teach them to manage it. And the way that I do that is to say to them, okay, I give up. What I want you to do is I want you to make as much fidget and as much noise as you can for the next minute and a half. And I look at my watch and I do it. Well, I don't actually do minutes. I don't do halves. I do 2 minutes or 1 minute. And I say, go for it, really go for it. And I want that little chap or that little girl to be able to fidget as much as they like, get it into, really get to grips with it. And then I said, when we're finished, when you've done that, and this is the instruction to the brain, when you've done that, I'm going to tell you, I want you to totally sit quiet and take control for 1 minute. And then we're going to do it again. And when you work like this with a child, the brain appreciates the help, because they don't know what to do. They're reacting to a world that is chaotic. They are picking up on frequencies and atmospheres and feelings. They can't interpret. They don't have the reference for. And the younger they are, the more difficult they find it. And there's one group of mothers that I went to talk to once for ADHD children, support group. I told them about my classroom. I used to just cover the walls in pale blue paper at the beginning of term. and not do. Every other teacher was sticking up all these charts and pictures, and I said, I have to have it calm when I go in. And then the children and I would work together to decide what we wanted in our room and how we wanted it. And members of staff would come rushing in at break and go, oh, it's so calm in here. And you have to take control at some point and say, how am I going to help this child prepare for the world we're in? What do they need? They need resilience. How am I going to teach them that? How am I going to teach them self-discipline? That's on the agenda for tomorrow, by the way. And start to get your head around how you can use lockdown, because you have access to this child 24/7, and you can guide their development. You don't have to do it 24/7. When I work with clients, I might have an hour a fortnight, but I will give them an activity like, now you're going to go crazy for 1 minute, now you're going to be still for 1 minute, and I can see them bursting to fidget again, but they try really hard and they get it. And then I'll say, okay, now we're going to work for 2 minutes, and we'll do the work, and then we're going to, and I can see them getting edgy again. Another alternative is to put them on one of those wobble cushions. They're great fun. And they're very good for core development. Children sometimes, because of the 21st century, they're not crawling as much as they would. They're not clambering into things as much as they would. But I thought, how can I make these lives useful for you? And I want to try to give you activities that you can do as a parent, and you can get your head around and help your small person, get ready for the world they're in. They want to be able to manage their emotion. They want to be able to reach for the stars, find out what's best for them. And they need your help to do that. And don't be afraid to experiment. I had one client who tied, those, you get these bottles that are 2 litres, and she'd get a couple of these empty 2-litre bottles and tie them to the back of a chair, and she gave the children wooden spoons, and they could absolutely smack them to pieces when they were feeling over the top, and then she'd have silence. And you can manage their behaviour that way, teach them to manage their behaviour that way. And you will be teaching them a great skill. It will be to do with self-management and self-control and holding the impulse. Because we all know we get impulses when we're in a crowded place, or when people don't put masks on, or, you get these impulses, but you don't act on them. Children do, unless we help them understand how to get to grips with them. So I hope that helps. If you would prefer me to read you bits from the book, I'm very happy to do that. Just leave comments below. Obviously, my 100 Things to Learn Before You're 10 has more activities like this in it and can help you. And I'm more than happy to help with answering questions. I'm actually considering having a Zoom call for parents who've been watching the lives, or parents who want to ask questions, but that will be later in July when these are finished, and I'll see what happens. Thank you very much for watching. I love having people watching now. Not so nervous. So, that's a very good question. Do you think there would be better learning in schools if the classes were separated into learning styles? I can't see more at the moment. I know you've written more. It's not coming up. As I said yesterday, I think learning styles, it may be easier for the teacher. I'm not sure it's beneficial for the child, because they would need to experience the whole of life. It may initially, for the first 5 years maybe, while they find their feet, be useful to put them into these groups. But as I said yesterday, I'm not sure whether learning styles are phases that children go through, or actually personal to the child, that this child is always an auditory learner or a perceptual learner. I'm not sure, because they go through phases in life, And I think they may be inclined to one or the other, but The Learning Revolution is a fantastic book, as I've mentioned it before. I can put the link again for talking about learning styles, and I'm very happy to answer questions on it more, further. So I hope that gives you a bit of an inroad into how to teach children to manage themselves. And tomorrow we will talk about self-discipline. If it's a good question, Donna, I will give some more thought to that and probably come back to it in another live. But yes, if we put all the groups together of different learning styles, it would definitely be easier from a teaching point of view. I'm not sure how beneficial it would be from the child's point of view, but I will think about that. Thank you very much, and hope to see you again soon. I'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Oh no, I won't. I'll be back at 8:45 tomorrow because I've got another 9 o'clock tomorrow. So thank you. Bye.